The roots of the Boston Mayfair date back to 1125, when Boston was the second largest and most important trading port in the UK. The fair brought thousands of families and traders from around the world to the town and was seen as a major economic area of trade. It's estimated that during the fair, the trade deals made and brokered would make up around 70% of the UK's wool, salt and lead exports. Imports brokered would often include fine wines, furs, leather and spices. During medieval Britain, Boston became a member of the Hanseatic League, one of the most powerful trading networks controlling major trade routes to advanced Western countries. Being a member gave Boston access to trade with other major players, such as Bruges and Bergen. This gave the fair an even stronger footing in the sheep market, and while the fair was on, parts of the town would be filled with sheep that would be sold for meat and wool. Whilst the fair itself started around 1125, it didn't receive its royal charter until 1218. The royal charter recorded the town's right to hold markets and fairs and recognised the town's trading power. The fair was also granted a patent to say the fair was to be held originally for 8 days, following the Feast of St. Baptist on the 24th of June. Between the 1500s and 1900s, trade coming through the town steadily declined, but the market remained very busy, and at times stallholders had to be segregated by merchandise, and armed guards were deployed to keep the peace. As time moved on and the gradual decline continued, much of the fair changed its focus from trade to entertainment to meet the needs of the local people. In the late 19th century, the UK was affected by the worst agricultural crash in history, and Boston never recovered from this. The iconic sheep market came to an end, and the cattle market became home to some of the more modern roundabouts. One of these roundabouts was named Sea Upon Land and was owned by showman George Sanger, was the first of its kind. The ride consisted of 6 boats, 2 swans, 3 dolphins, and several other items from the sea that would oscillate as it used horsepower to circulate the ride. The marketplace would play host to many shows that included the boxing of 2 midgets aged 10 and 12, a monster rat, and a man with peculiar formation on his skin. Opposite was a show that wouldn't allow females in, and there were also shows involving live animals. Throughout the 1900s, the fair continued its shift and followed the revolution of power, with many of the small shows and roundabouts making way for larger machines that were powered by steam. Some of these machines became rides that became the footprint of modern-day fairs, but fans and historians will never forget the role they played in getting us to where we are today. Rides such as galloping horses, arcs, steam yachts, jets, and moon rockets became icons of the Mayfair, and attractions such as the freak show and cakewalk were some of the busiest around. Over the years, Boston has hosted some of the largest showmen around, with rides being presented from all corners of the UK. Since the early 1900s, the Holland, Ling and local family Asplins have had an ever-presence at the fair with their rockets, Dodgems, arc, cakewalk and Waltzer rides. With the turn of the combustion engines creating a larger source of power, the type of rides became even larger, and a growing list of showmen joined the Boston Fair. Over the last 40 years, We have seen a burst of waltzers, twisters, giant Ferris wheels, freak-out rides, and booster rides. While the fair in Boston has changed the face of the skyline in Boston's modern history, with 2025 marking the 900th year of the fair. One thing that will never change, and that's how the fair has shaped the history of Boston.